threaded by voices. Her name in the unfinished pages. In translation, I wish in the next lifetime I will have an education, to be a person full of knowledge. These were among the last wishes Ling, my grandmother, spoke before she passed away. Growing up, she often shared her life stories with me, stories stitched like the fabric of her monk cross stitch, as known as bandao. One afternoon, sunlight poured through our dining room sliding door. I sat on the bamboo chair, chin resting in my palms, listening to her soft voice as her hands moved gracefully, sewing. That was the day she told me a story that I will never forget. There was a time when foreigners came to her village carrying books, paper, and pencils. They offered to teach, for a small fee, the art of reading and writing. The news spread quickly throughout the village. Out of curiosity, Ling and a few other women paid a visit. That first day, she learned how to write her name, just her name. But that was all she needed to remember, her identity. It was her name that belonged to her. And for that day on, she knew how to write Ling and couldn't wait to return to the next day to learn more. But life took a turn. At home, her oldest son and daughter-in-law struggled. Days were long in the garden, nights short with meals stretched thin. Money was scarce, too scarce to divide between food and lessons. One evening, he told her gently, yet firmly, that the money would be better off spent on food than on school. Ling's heart was shattered. But she was a mother first. She needed to set aside her notebooks and pencil and care for her family. The next morning, as the other woman passed by Ling's house, calling for her, "Ling!" she looked at them. She said nothing, but only shook her head. She stayed behind. They said their goodbyes and walked the dirt road to the school, turning right. Then she heard her son calling, "내야 주저, 자기야 못됐대요." In translation, "Mom, hurry. It's time for us to go to the garden." Ling strapped on her bamboo basket, tucked her garden tools inside, closed the door behind her, and stepped onto the opposite path. The path that led her to the garden. Left to survive, left to provide for her family, left to bring food to the table, left one of her dreams behind. When Ling finished telling me the story, she didn't say another word. She just sewed, the thread pulling in and out of fabric with quiet patience. But her eyes told me everything, the sorrow, the strength, and the sacrifice she had given for her family. The selfless act she chose to save them. As I grew older, I carried that story with me. I learned that she had been a young mother in a village in Laos, bound by war, hunger, survival, and expectations. She had to give up pieces of herself to keep her family alive, and yet she never spoke of regret. Years went by, she brought her family to America, and children never had to wonder again if there would be food on the table. While she was still here, she never stopped reminding me to go to school, to keep learning, to never take it for granted. She saw herself in me, the version of her who once longed for education but could not have it. I had what she wished for, the access, the freedom, the choice. And so I thank her for her sacrifices, her story, for her reminding me that education is not just a privilege, it is a legacy. I carry her voice with me. I continue to learn. I share her story so that her path, though cut short, continues through mine, from one generation to the next. 봐, 어쩌 그냥 해서 그러는 게 있으니 덕구. Cô thấy lý tao tao có cho kỹ nhô có mô nhà thảo lọ. Cô mô mong cha có ô quỷ ra bò nhà tiền nó. Số cha số nhà 갔다 오었고 고연 연정 문다이 신ning. In translation, thank you, grandmother. Thank you for opening up about your sufferings in life. You helped me understand your past hardships. I am very fortunate to have you as my grandmother in this lifetime. Everything you did for me, I will always remember it forever. For her reminding me. Okay, take two. And so I thank her